Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. We're into our second couple of days here in the winter season, and it's a wonderful time of year. It's my personal favourite, as I mentioned on the previous video. So we're going to be running around like a mad chicken, trying to grab all of the things that we need to make this year's final few days fantastic. So we've got all this lovely fruit. Look at all these lovely star fruits. Now you can see I've got my selection of ancient fruit that is growing slowly but surely. It's getting there, which is good. The more of that I can get, the better. That's kind of the big thing. Obviously I want to get more ancient fruit and then turn that into ancient fruit wine, because yes, ancient fruit wine for the win, please. But for now, we've got lots of stuff going on, and we're going to go grab all these. I'm going to replant those areas there, and then going to take all of the fruit down to the shed of kegs, just so that we can produce more wine. Because that's really what this area is for. It's just for wine production. There's not really a huge amount else that I can do with it. Also beer production, because I've got all that wheat, so that's probably going to be the next major thing to start mass producing next week. Once the wine is virtually all ready, I want to make sure I can actually get that all done. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Now, we've also got all of these lovely fish to collect from. Now, of course, I've slapped down in my little area there that's not particularly well organised all of the winter berries, the mixed winter seeds that I had lying around. So I was like, let's just get that done. I'll need to obviously do a little bit more work with that and just plant a few more when I can get some more of the seeds. Okay, so we've got a little selection of wines there. So we've got some rhubarb, coconut, and banana wine. That'll be an interesting flavour mix, I'll tell you that much. Rhubarb on its own is such an interesting flavour. It's sweet but tart also at the same time. It's a strange flavour. But that's just rhubarb. But definitely something here in the UK. Good old rhubarb and apple crumble. Can't really go far wrong with that. Okay, so it looks like we've got a selection of stuff that's pickled and ready. So I'm assuming that's all pumpkins. Yes, it is. So these are quite valuable as a general thing. I think obviously being that pumpkins are quite valuable. Pickled pumpkins are just shockingly enough more valuable and kind of helpful on that regard. Because, of course, I'd much rather have more valuable crops being harvested. Because, of course, why would one not? Just going to quickly move on through here. Sell those wines. Sell that preserved pickled pumpkin. And then I'm going to then go and visit the animals. Hopefully, they've got some nice resources for me. You've got some nice milk and some eggs for me, which will be good. And of course, I've got lots of dinosaurs in my coop, which will give me lots of dinosaur eggs. They're slow to produce, but they are valuable, and that's the big thing here. I do need to get myself another brown chicken, so I'm going to probably grab one of the eggs at some point and hatch that into a brown chicken, so that I can get a small brown egg to sell, because I haven't shipped any of those out yet, so that's something that I haven't yet delivered, and of course that's something that counts towards perfection, so I need to work my way towards that, because perfection's an important goal. I want to have everything sorted. It's part of it is going to be the saving up of the money to actually be able to afford the obelisks. They're going to be the major one that's going to be the tricksy part, and it's trying to figure out which one is probably best to get first. I mean, I know that they're not super expensive like the early ones, like the mountain one. Probably should really start getting those ready though. In the same way, I need to work a bit more on the Ginger Island stuff, because obviously I need to make sure that Mr. Key is providing me all of the useful gubbins that he can. Now, one of the things that I do also need to do is grab a bunch of star fruit ready for Junimo Hut production, because that's another major thing that I would like to have done by the end of the winter season. And I know roughly how large the area that they harvest from is, which is good. But as I mentioned in the previous video, I do need to check and see if there's a mod that I can get that actually shows you the actual footprint of the harvesting area. And actually, to be fair, that wouldn't be a bad thing to have also on the sprinklers as well. I mean, I know how far the sprinklers go, but it wouldn't hurt. And that's all I'm looking for. It's like very basic UI mods. Because I tried to download more, and apparently I'm just really bad at doing mods. Or, to be fair, I think it's probably that I'm just bad with tech. I'm an absolute chronic Luddite, and I will always admit that fact, because you give me a tablet computer to work from, and I'm just like, yes, this is a thing. But we're going to work our way further down in the mines today, because that's our primary goal down here. I say the mines, the skull cavern, because I really want to get down to floor 100. And that's kind of my aim for today, is the next 2 days, hopefully get down there. Because even just getting there, I'll have obtained a large quantity of resources, because yes, that would be handy. And lots of resources, always useful. Of course, it'll be a vast quantity of smelting going on, because, well, of course there will be. At the same time, though, I know full well I should have bought more coal last year when it was cheaper. So I'm kind of going to get a little bit stymied on that one, which is, again, my own fault, but c'est la vie. Okay, so I'm just going to murder this horrible serpent, because they need to die and need to go away, because I don't really want to be dealing with them, because they're horrible and annoying. Now, let's just quickly see if I can get any better luck with these murderings. I mean, of course, like getting a staircase out of a slime, kind of handy. But a hole would have been better, because then I could have dropped further down. Okay, so we've got our lovely little dinosaur. I always forget what they're called. Stegosaurus thing. Even though that's not really what they are, because they are a fire-breathing monstrosity, and pyrokinesis isn't really a thing that we've been able to establish with dinosaurs. That'd be a horrifying realization if we found evidence that that was actually the case, that dinosaurs could breathe fire. That would very much put a very interesting spin on evolution as a whole, being like, well, yeah. How? How does one do? Because I've had a look through like some of the evolutionary sort of side of stuff, like the weird and wonderful, like how would a dragon actually work? And it's like, it's kind of cool. Probably not able to fly, because it's one of the things that always fascinated me as a kid, is that with dinosaurs, the fact that they have a lot of air pockets in their bones. So they essentially have hollow bones, like a bird does, and lots of air sacs in their, like the pterodactyls do, like the pterosaurs do, and then other dinosaurs have got lots of like air pouches and such to improve their respiration and such. And it's not that they store air; it's that more that they have like their bodies aren't quite as dense as mammalian skeletons are, and mammalian bodies. It's an interesting sort of like odd observation. I saw it as a kid and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Paleontology was one of those things I would have loved to have got into more properly, but unfortunately, I'm very easily distracted, as I have discovered. And that meant that other shiny things appeared and made me go, you know what, I'm going to do that. Ah well, that's my own fault. But then again, there's nothing wrong with trying again later on. Now, let's see how much further down we can get today. I mean, we're only on, what, floor 14? That's really not far, is it? I need to get down further and faster. I think that's the tricksy bit. Like, bombs are only going to give you so much of an advantage here, because, yes, they're going to help me get further down, but how quickly? That's a different question. Because really, I need to uncover the holes. That's really it. They're the fast way down, and really the only way of actually getting around quickly. Without them, it's a bit more of a pain. Okay, go away. Well, that's another set of stairs. At least we're getting down there. That's kind of the big thing, is we're going down. Oh, I hate this. There's the snaking floor, because, yes, there's lots of stuff to do and get, But that's the problem, is that it takes time and it's a slow progress on this one. I just hope that I get a stairway down faster and earlier than later. Okay, let's keep going. So eat some cactus fruit, get a little bit of health back, because goodness gracious knows I need it. Okay, so there's a nice selection of stones over there. So we're just going to go slap a bomb down and see what happens. Oh, go away. Please leave me alone, horrible serpent. I don't really like the idea of getting knocked out. Thank you kindly. It's been a while since that's happened, but at the same time, I don't really want that to happen because people start rifling through your pockets, which is a bit cheeky. And Linus can only do so much to save your backside. Although it does make me wonder, like, when you pass out in the mines, like, well, how on earth has somebody managed to get hold of you? Because that's just very odd. Also, that mummy was just walking into me, not attacking me, so I wasn't sure what was going on with that one. Maybe it just wanted a hug. But, hey, the undead, they have weird and wonderful whims. Okay, so we've got some more diamonds, some stone. Come on. Ah, there's a way. Nope. Ah, there's the way down. Well, we're slowly getting there. The more of them, the better. Okay, let's blow up some slimes and some other miscellaneous. Because that's really the easiest way of doing this. I mean, other than using the staircases. Which, again, I could make a buttload of, because I do have so much stone. It's really the replacing, like, any chests that I would make out of wood, just going to make them out of stone. Anything else that I can make of stone, I will. Of course, the exception to that being, like, the hardwood stuff. Because the hardwood fence, being the best fence, is an important thing for me to do. And I'm probably going to need to make a few more of them for the new year. As it was something that I noticed that the stone fences collapsed. Not like super quickly, but they were... I don't think they fully all survived the first winter. Which... It's nice that I have a spouse, because there is the chance that they will fix things on the farm. I just don't know how likely that is. But it's the same way that there's a random chance that they'll bake you something, like make you some bread or something. Which, again, useful, just not, like, measurable in its random state. Now, of course, I have that wonderful joy of... At some point, potentially, Hayley will maybe ask, do we want to have kids? Now, I will freely admit, if the question was ever posed to me in real life, the answer would be no. In video games, it's like, again, not really super keen. I would kind of prefer the option to just go child-free route. I have no desire to be a father, so... Kids in video games have very little impact on me. I'm like, cool. Child, what do you want from me? And especially in games like Fallout 3 and such, where I've just actually wanted to shoot them in the face because they've been annoying. You go to Little Lamplight a bit too early, and then you find out it's like, oh, you annoying kids. Anyway, before I start talking about killing non-existent people. Okay, so we need to quickly work my way through here. Excellent stuff. Come on. I must find something around here. Nice passage down would be real handy right now. No? Okay, fair enough. So we've got some more mummies to kill. It's not too difficult, to be fair. Again, they're just frustrating. It's just the fact that you have to bomb them. I really should check and see if cherry bombs work for that. But because they're quite easy to make, but at the same time, I'm also using the bombs because I'm using them to clear area as well at the same time, so the cherry bomb won't really be quite as helpful in that sort of scenario. Plus, it's an extra thing to have to carry, which I don't really want to have to do, because, again, I'm quite lazy. And I will never deny that fact, because it's true. Let's have a quick look and see if we can get any further down. I will get further down in this cave, I swear. It's so crucial to me to actually get to the bottom. Mostly because then I can actually start doing other things, because I'll know that I've done, well, you know, one of the most important things for me to achieve at this point, because it's I think the only open quest that I've got. But oh well. Once I can achieve it, then I'll be a lot more happy, because then it'll be done. Of course, that's not going to stop me from coming in here every now and again, but, you know, for now, it's an important get to the bottom. I say to the bottom, get to that and be done. Hopefully, then it'll actually open up the opportunity to actually get the other quests from Mr. Keys, such as hitting the bottom of the mines or other things a second time within a short period of time, and you know, that'd be good. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of annoying, because I'd very much like to actually get as many of those cursed key gems as possible, because they'll give me the opportunity to actually buy all the useful things. Because yes, it's very important. And yeah, as soon as I can get more of the key gems and I can actually upgrade the sprinkler systems and, well, it's going to be all about the increased radius rather than the other option of the automatic fertilizer seeding. I guess the fertilizer seeding is a useful thing, but nowhere near as helpful as the increased radius, I personally believe. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's really what I'm after, is just to give me that option to do that, and the opportunity to actually end up with a significantly better laid out farm. And then in the same way, as soon as I can get actually slap down the Junimo hut and put down the selection of improved water sprinklers around it, then I'll have a decent level of farming that can just be essentially left to its own devices. Particularly with the Junimo huts, if I plant things like, well, coming up with the spring season, a bunch of strawberries, because then I don't need to replant them, and they'll just keep giving me money, which is very handy. In that same sort of vein, I can do that with corn, and actually corn would be even more useful, because of course that allows me to do that over the summer and the autumn, which, you know, pretty handy. So we'll see. We will see. So hey ho. Now, let's have a quick see. Oh, another crab thing. Unfortunately, I'd rather have getting the bats, as that would be more, you know, kind of good. Yeah. Very annoying. Because I'd quite like to end up with more stuff. Oh, another hole. That's some good fortune. Right, well, let's see if we can get any further down. The trouble is, it's 10 past 12, and there's not going to be long before I actually need to, unfortunately, get back to the farm. I don't think I'm going to get much further tonight, but more bats is useful. And I know I could, in theory, go to the caves and slay them, because it'll be handy to do so, but yeah, it's going to be very annoying. Because the bats need to die. Who'd have guessed? But then, what do I get from it? I guess that's the question. I wonder what I'll actually gain from this little side quest type thing. We'll have to have a look and see. Let's have a look and see. So we'll just quickly escape back up and out now that it's 1 AM. So yeah, that's the main thing, is like making sure I don't end up too late. But yeah. Right, so we're going to head on back home, get back into the house, empty all the pockets of stuff, and then we will return. Because yes, I'm going to head back into the desert tomorrow, and again, I'm going to try and get far into the damn caves, because this is becoming somewhat frustrating, because I still haven't managed to achieve it. But oh well. C'est la vie. Right, all the same, I'm going to deposit all of these gubbins in here, probably going to put some of the actual bones in the bone mill, because that's probably a good shout. Because actually turning that into some useful resources is a good shout. And we will end up going to bed, because we're pushing it very fine there, with only 20 minutes left before 2 AM. And the fallover sort of thing. Okay. So what else are we going to get? Well, let's see. Hopefully, I can actually get down far enough this time. So I'm going to head on over in the same sort of way. I've got to wait until 10 AM, because that's the problem, is because I haven't got the obelisk to the desert, I have to wait for Pam to turn up. Whereas if I have the obelisks, then I don't have to worry about that sort of time frame thing. So I can't remember if there's an actual obelisk to Ginger Island, but there is one to the beach. So I guess that's the useful one for that one. But we'll see. I know there's the obelisk to return from Ginger Island. I have it on my farm on the island. Okay, so nothing available and ready in the cellar, sadly. And the sooner that's ready, the better, because that would be really nice, because the expensive wines will make my life a lot easier and financially gratifying, as I would much rather have more money. I think that's really what it boils down to. I mean, I've got 1.5 million. I should probably also do in the winter at the moment the upgrades to the village. So like there's the cut throughs and the rebuilding, well, the building of a house for Pam and Penny, because yeah, it does suck how they are unfortunately having to live in a caravan. And at the same time, as much as I joke about Pam being awful, in the same way I jokingly called a pig after her, but it was just, again, it's that on reflection, is my dislike of her because she's an older alcoholic who is not particularly pleasant to her daughter, but at the same time I have that dislike of Elliot for just being, well, Elliot. I cannot shake that. I'm sorry, as much as you Elliot stands out there who are like, oh yeah, Elliot's the best, I'm like, you sure about that? I think he's a pretentious asshole. And I think it's really because he just reminds me of the sort of person who really gets into steampunk as a thing and is convinced that they are a Victorian gentleman. And it's I find it really cringy. At the same time, you know, one is allowed to enjoy what one does. You know, at no point I'm never going to say to you, you should not enjoy that. At the same time, deep down in my heart of hearts, I'm going to go, I personally think it's a bit cringy. So, sorry, I'm not into that. It's in the same way I like the steampunk aesthetic. It's just unfortunately, people have ruined it for me. And it was one of the general sorts of things that I have dealt with. Like, so for example, when My Little Pony came out, I was like, actually, I quite like the animation. I really enjoyed Lauren Faust's previous work when I was a kid, because I think she was responsible for Dexter's Laboratory and the Powerpuff Girls and, you know, stuff of my childhood that I really enjoyed. So I quite enjoyed the silliness, but I absolutely hated bronies. The fans made it awful. It was I will say to people, yeah, I enjoy the show, if anyone asks. I'm just not going to go out of my way to tell anyone about it. Because, my goodness, do I hate the fans. But I think that's just a thing. People can ruin your appreciation for stuff. But at the same time, if you enjoy something, don't let someone else's opinion, you know, get in the way when it's like a fandom like that. But like I say, it's a sad thing that it makes me not enjoy it, which, you know, and that's only because of that. But hey ho, that's just how it goes. So we've got smashing open some more stones, which is good, because the more of these we smash open, the better opportunities we might actually get to have something useful. I think I've given all the gemstones to Gunter at the museum. Stress on the think. Well, still got 22 of them to go through. So I'm definitely going to have to sell some of the rocks straight away to Clint, aren't I? I have very little choice on that one. Not the end of the world. Just, I've got to work my way through it all. There's a lot of it, though. But once we can chisel our way through all of this, then we'll have another opportunity to get back down in the mines and try and get further. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have to sell a bunch of these rocks to him. Okay, so what can we sell to you? Well, let's sell all of those. We don't need these. Definitely don't need that. Definitely don't need that. That. Don't need the gold really at the moment, do I? Right, so smash this one open. So there's an ocean stone, which I know we needed for our squid. So we're going to keep hold of that one. I'm going to go throw that in the water and see what that does. I mean, I'm sure it's just going to give them, well, you know, I say it's sure. It gives them the next stage of their population, which is good and all. And again, very handy, because that's going to be needed. As the more of them I can get, the better it goes. I think it just increases the actual rewards that you get from them. And I think the likelihood, the more of them there are in there, gives you a greater percentage chance of actually receiving the gifts from them, as well as the what's available, because they just get better with the more of them in there. Which, of course, like with the spicy eels, for example, I'm getting quite a lot of those from the lava eel, because I've got 10 of them in there. So it's handy stuff, because that is a fantastically useful dish with its improvement on speed and luck. Which, speed is the big thing for me, because I do find that I move so slowly in the farm, and I would much rather be able to move faster. So they're happy with the ocean stone, so that's good. So it's now nearly 11 o'clock, so let's roll on out to the desert after we just sell through the remaining miscellaneous guff that we don't need. As again, we've got a bunch of stones. It's really only going to be needed for other fishery stuff. I don't think there's much use for many of the others other than donation to the museum. Maybe I could use them as an internal decoration in the house, I guess? I think I've got the furniture catalogue. I should probably redecorate the house at some point and actually lay it out the way I want to and do things. There we go, right, so there we go. I've bought a bus ticket whilst leaving the horse in the middle of the road. I am a terrible human being. Just, sorry horsey, Pam needs to drive a bus through you. Now move. Yes. Silly horsey. Time to be flattened. Yeah. Well, that's something I've never actually learned how to do. Ride a horse. And I think part of it is because horses are kind of scary. To me. Which I will explain, don't worry. It's not a Freudian little Hans theory, thankfully. It's just because they're larger than I am, like physically as a larger creature. Like it took me a while to get used to cows because of how large they are. And the thing is, I grew up in the countryside, so it's a regular thing to see. It's just, I think there's the intimidation factor of a creature that is significantly larger than you. And you know that it can hurt you. I think that's the other thing is, like, as a young child, I remember seeing some the results of a horse-related injury, because one of the girls in my class was a horse riding girl and broke her arm. Well, more to the point, had her arm broken because of a horse. I believe she fell off of it, but you know, it's still a horse, is vaguely involved, so it made me not really want to be on top of one. But at the same time, I think it would be a skill to have. Not a bad one either. It would take a bit of, you know, psyching myself up, in the same way that some people need to psych themselves up before they go and do something insane, like jumping out of a plane. In the same way, yeah, I'd find that kind of intimidating, but at the same time, I've done some skyline zip wire stuff, so that doesn't frighten me as much. But I guess that's because I know that it's inherently safer in some ways, because, you know, you're doing it because you've... Well, I say it's safer. Bungee jumping scares the absolute bejeebers out of me. And I'm not going to go and bungee jump. Not anywhere, anytime soon. But, again, it's just what everyone has their limits, don't they? And my adrenaline spike does go, you know what? That sounds like it would be fun. And I think that's quite a reasonable thing to do, because I kind of want to do some big, daft, silly things at some point. What, though? Very different question. Don't know. But I think learning to ride a horse is a sensible one at some point. Righty, so... we're getting there. Slowly but surely. We are getting there down the mine. We were only in, like, the teens still. But it is only 1:40. So, hopefully... we can do some intense floor skipping by jumping down holes. Because that's kind of the big thing here, is jumping down these damn holes. Okay, so what we've got in this chest. Some more Omni Geodes, again, useful, just not super massively important right at this point. Come on, let's work our way down. So we're going to smash these rocks open. What else have we got? So we got some more stone. It's fine, I guess. Some more slimes. Maybe some more bats would be nice. I think I'm probably going to have to do the bats thing in the main cave system, because they're much more guaranteed, whereas these iridium bats, as useful as they are, because of course they drop iridium and iridium bars, it would be more handy to actually have an easier time of it with the bats. And I think they're one of those creatures that has not the quite infinite spawn, but in those not quite cursed floors where they spawn in repeatedly, and there's a greater chance of being able to mess them up, essentially, which might be more handy. Let's place a bomb there. Bang. Okay, so it looks like we're going down this way then. If that's the way we go, that is the way we go. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of undead. Okay, that's a lot of ghosts. I'm just really grateful they don't hit very hard. Because, yeah, I've walked into quite a few of them there. And that's not quite what I want to do. You know, I don't really want to get beaten half to death by a ghost. Not my jam, thanks. Okay, I'm going to murder this slime, and then I'm going to work my way around, place a bomb over there, probably. Just clear out some of this nonsense and see what we get. Okay, so we've got some more iridium, and a way down. Excellent stuff. Down we trump. Okay, let's see. Probably should drink some coffee, shouldn't I? Prove that speed stat. Is there anything else that I can do? It's having a look through the inventory really at the moment, thinking, nom, 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 nom. I've got those pancakes. That might not be a terrible one to eat later on if we need an immediate boost of energy or health. But what else could I do? Anyway, right, so time to get going. as we have things to do. So that was a quick musing there, but nothing super exciting on that one. Okay, so it's 3:40. We've still got a good opportunity of actually getting down there in time tonight. But again, we might need to increase the speed because the spicy eel is giving me that useful extra speed boost right now. But what else can we get? I mean, the triple shot espresso is probably the next most useful for that. I think. I'm genuinely debating it. What else could I do? Okay, so we've actually got the warp totem for the farm. That's going to make this evening a lot easier because it does mean we have more time, in theory, to try and get further down in the mines because it means I can just teleport straight away about, what, 11? Not 11, sorry, about... about 10 to 2. Because that way I can still get back. That's the important thing, is getting back to the farm in time. Because, yeah, it's going to get a little silly if I don't. Because I really want to be not asleep in the mines, thanks. That's generally considered a bad idea. Because I don't know about anyone else, I've never slept in a cave system. Although, to be fair, I do know there are... some that would be, what's the word? Some, some hotels. I know there's one in the bottom of the Grand Canyon that's essentially in a cave. And I know there's also like that entire Turkish village that's built in a cave system. Was was discovered by a random man. He found it under his house or something, if memory serves. Very cool though. Very cool, in fact. I do watch a fair bit of archaeology stuff because it's one of those just fascinating things. Like, especially there's a young chap, Milo, I've been watching a lot of recently. His stuff just makes me laugh because he frames the archaeology in a much more entertaining way, especially with his debunking of idiotic theories, which I quite like. But you know, when you pick up a trend, sort of like you've got a thing that you're really into it for a time, and that's my current guilty pleasure. Right, let's keep working through this. Goodness gracious, these horrible slimes. I'm really glad though that we don't have to worry about these actual things, because goodness, if they were real, they would be an absolute flipping nightmare. Horrible slimy creatures. Okay. So, we've got some more slimes there, that's fine. And we have... what else have we got? Oh, goodness. Well, don't want to throw this away, but I do want to move it closer to this as a restorative. Because if everything goes wrong, and we need to deal with it, health-wise, yeah, the option is there. Which is really the most important part of this, is I need to be able to restore health quickly. Okay, so we're going further down. We're in the early 40s at the moment, so... well, early mid. We need to get down here as quickly as possible. Come on. Oh, goodness, more serpents. There's always more serpents. Why can there never not be serpents? Well, I think I've already done the serpent killing thing from a guild, but I should probably check actually what my required murdering of creatures is. Okay, so let's consume that. Let's slap these things. Oh goodness, that spicy eel restores a lot of energy, but not so much in the way of health. That's not helpful. I might have to eat the pancakes. Not that that's a terrible thing to eat, but you know, I might have to eat the pancakes. At least there's a cave carrot. Again, not super handy, but it's extra health right now. Pancakes give you a buff for foraging. Did not realise that. I'm going to probably need to eat another spicy eel at some point soon anyway. Because I want to restore the luck and speed boost. Thank you very much. Because that is the most useful thing right now. Mining wouldn't hurt I think if... I don't know if a higher mining skill gives you a greater chance of coal dropping. That would be really nice if that was the case. I think the miner's tree is the best one for that. But I don't know. I don't think that is the case. I could be wrong, though. Because, as I've said before, it wouldn't be the first time that I am wrong. And at the same time, I'm always happy to accept that I am incorrect about something that I've stated, because I'd rather find out the truth of something and know. Because I would rather know better. Tequila Rose is a really good example of it. I can't remember if I've mentioned this one, but my friend and co-worker, she pointed out to me that I'd been calling it Tequila Rosé, because I'd assumed, like a moron, that people who said it's like that were correct. And that there was indeed an accent over the E. I was incorrect. There is not an accent over the E on Tequila Rose. It is Rose, not Rosé. Because it's not the wine. But, you know, I realised I was incorrect. And I'm glad I was shown. Because, yeah, it was dumb. But, you know, rather than me spouting nonsense, because I'd rather spout the truth than absolute weird nonsense. Okay. So, let's see if we can get any further down here. Come on. Early 50s. Let's see if we can get any further with any sneaky ways down. Come on, I need a hole in the ground, please. Okay, a ladder will do. It's not perfect, however. Oh, for crying out loud. Come on. Now, come on. Eat this. And some magma geodes. Again, we can get those cracked open by Clint. That'll be helpful more than anything. Let's put a bomb down. Just detonate our way through. There we go. Lovely stuff. And another hole. And there's a bat. This is the main reason I'm sticking around on this floor, is I need to kill this bat. There we go. And an energy tonic could be handy, but we're just going to go down the hole. 8 levels. That's a good drop. Okay, we're on floor 60 now. I will also admit that because I know that this happened, I managed to corrupt the recording. So don't be surprised when there's a bit of a jump later on in the video. As I managed to absolutely mangle the recording like an absolute nitwit. Yeah, I'm annoyed at myself. I think what I need to do is remember to remove the hotkeys. Because I think that's what happened, is I'd accidentally stopped and started the recording at different times. And that's kind of what happened. So, very frustrating and entirely my own stupid fault. But I will progress. One lives and learns. Yes. Yeah, essentially I screwed up. But I was quite lucky. I actually got 3 holes in a row. One that dropped me like 8 levels, one that dropped me 7, and another one that dropped me like 5 very quickly. Like I did earlier, where I had one that just appeared right next to the steps. So I did manage to jump down quite quickly. But anyway, here we go. Let's jump on down this bit. Murder this horrible critter. Oh no, it's horrible. Go away. Shoot. That's more iridium. Okay, yeah, so here we go. So this is where I ended up. I love it when it happens. Right, so we've got... Oh my goodness gracious, I forgot about this little bit here. There were so many monsters in this room. It was absolutely absurd. So that was when the Phoenix rank had triggered there. It doesn't tell you. It's not like it pops up on the screen, which would be... It'd be nice if it did that. If it gave you the... Your Phoenix ring is activated. So you know that you can't rely on it. But at the same time, I was most glad of it. It's just sheer existence saved my bacon. Okay, it's going to make a bunch of bombs, maybe? Nah. Void essence, though. Right, thankfully, though, the slimes can't hurt me, so I'm not too worried about them. But I am going to murder this bat. And that bat as well. Because, again, that's bats. Let's slap this thing repeatedly. Okay, so we're 1 a.m. It's getting a bit... cutting it a bit fine. But at the same time, I have the warp totem to the farm. So I know I can still push it maybe another 30-40 minutes. I've got to be very careful, however, because it's very easy for me to screw up at this point. So I'm going to increase a bit of that. I'm just going to place a bomb there. Okay, that's really annoying. It's 20 past. Oh, man, come on. I just need to drop down. Because, yeah, this is really not... A hole, a hole, a hole. I think I'm close enough. It'll take me... It should take me 4 levels down. Oh, here we go, Mr. Key. I really do not like those weird snake things. No, I do not like them. No. No, don't know if I mentioned that. Really don't like it. Cool, come closer. Don't be shy. I mean, I don't actually know who you are, Mr. Key, other than that you are a blue man wearing a hat. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm a little bit intimidated by your existence and presence, but, I don't really know you. And, you want me to drink some milk. Cool. Does that not give you a little bit of a Wiggins like that? I am not keen. But, all the same, we've seen Mr. Key, and it is now time to teleport ourselves back to the farm. So, now that we've actually completed this pit, this lovely bit of the pit, we've got ourselves the health up boost. So, I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell. If you did enjoy what we've done here today, please do like, share and subscribe and comment, because it's always very handy. And once again, hopefully I'll catch you again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.